Hey YouTube, my name is Gabriel. Thanks for watching my channel. In this video we're going to be talking about the second generation Costal Offroad bumper for a second generation Toyota Tacoma. This is going to be a DIY kit. When you purchase from their website, they're going to send you a kit for your specific vehicle. In this case, this video is going to be for a second gen Tacoma. And I'm going to show you how to put it together. Stick around, subscribe, comment. Hope you enjoy. Hope everybody's doing well. What we're doing today is putting together the Costal Offroad high clearance bumper. I wasn't able to find any other videos on this bumper specifically. I think there's another video, and they're doing the original version of their bumper. This is their second generation bumper. It's higher clearance on the front for approach angles, I guess. And you have to cut the factory cross member. I don't know if this video is going to be a two-parter or what, but anyways, this is my first video on YouTube, so we'll see how this goes. We're going to undo this there's two bolts here for the transmission cooler lines, I believe is what it is. There's going to be a new spot for that because all of that right here is going to be gone. Alright, Costal sends us some pretty sweet detail instructions. They have everything that we need to do. It's a good idea to get all of your pieces kind of organized and you know, make sure you have everything. They did forget to send me the cross member when I ordered this, so if I would have started the project, that's one of the first things you have to do. They were super cool about it. I got it pretty much within a few days. As soon as I messaged them back and told them that I didn't have it, and they apologized, and it was there. It was in my house here in just a couple of days. Anyways, they have, you know, kind of all the pieces labeled and everything, so you can lay that out on the floor. Make sure you have everything that you need. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and remove those frame extensions right here before we cut. So all these hooks in the bottom, I'm gonna undo all of that, pull all that out. It's gonna look something like that. And out it comes, just like that. On the tranny lines here, it takes 17 millimeters. I'm going to remove my factory skip blade. We're going to have to undo the radiator there. Don't have to take it out or anything, but we're gonna be able to move it kind of out of the way so we can do our welds and our grinding without compromising anything here. You know, you don't want to hit that radiator because that's gonna be bad news. Anyways, so this is where our cross member is gonna go eventually. There's a skip plate that goes with this bumper, also from Costal Road, so stick around and you guys can watch that video on the skip plate. Okay, moving on to removing our skip plate. 12 millimeter socket on your impact wire. This truck's got a front differential spacers. I don't know how I feel about those. Probably take those off and just leave it stock. It has a leveling pot on it. Just stock suspension. It's all blown up and it's got oil all over it. So I ordered some sweet suspension, Elka 2.5s with resis on them, and I cannot wait for those to get here. It was like a 12-week wait time or something like that, so it seems like I ordered them forever ago. But anyways, when I get those, I'll probably make a video on those too. So it's a lot of cool stuff that I'm doing to this truck. I'm super excited about. So if you guys want to see that, stick around. If you're interested on it, just leave a comment. Alrighty, so this doesn't have to go into in any specific order really, but according to the instructions, this was kind of their next step. They want you to make a cut here, pretty much emulating the line there on the body. Just cut the chunk out so it's out of your way. Still kept that layer. Forget about the tape. Just send it. If you have a nice, clean, brand new box blade knife, it really just cuts it really nice and easy. It looks really nice, clean cut. Anyways, I'm just gonna leave that there. I mean, since I think that's what they meant, even though their line was marked like way up here like that. It's no big deal. I mean, if I need to cut more later, then I can just figure it out then. So right now, I got the chunk of plastic out of the way, so that's good. That's the first cut. So I don't really know. Like I said, we might cut it some more later. So guys, so far so good. Now we're gonna remove the clips for the radiator and just whatever you got for the tool. There's specific tools for this. This is all I got, so you know, it kind of works like that. Pull them out. You can use 2 screwdrivers or whatever. Save those because we're gonna need them again. Anyways, you get the idea. I'm gonna speed through this. They'll be surprised if they break. They always do. So just keep a bag of those clips on the side. You can get them on Amazon for like a pack of a million. Okay, 12mm socket. That's all you're gonna need. One more right there. One more right there. Okay, well, but anyways, this is what I came up with. The 2 spacers that came off of here, you're gonna have that. I just put those pieces back here in between the bushing right there where it attaches. So anyways, just slide those back there, push up and back, and it gives you tons of room here to work. Weld right there, weld, grind, whatever. And now we have all this room back here to cut too. So all right guys, so it is time to cut this stuff up. So now you can use whatever you want, like a cutting wheel, probably the most accessible for everybody. I got a plasma cutter, so I'm gonna use a combination. I'm gonna use plasma cutter just for the sake of speed. I'll just bust through that real quick, and I know it's not gonna be perfect, so I'm just gonna go back with the grinder and the cutting wheel and just kind of clean it up. You know, just under that line is about where the frame is at. So I'm, better cut less and then just grind it up to the frame or something like that than cutting too much and hitting the frame. We don't want to touch that frame if we can, So I mean, however you can draw a line or whatever to guide you, that's probably the best thing. I'm probably just gonna take the plasma cutter and bust up here and just cut it that way, and then just to get all this stuff out of the way, and then we'll clean it up. There we go. I guess the truck didn't like getting smacked with a hammer. And it's also going to be a 17mm for those brackets down there. I was hoping that I could do the YouTube thing, keeping it simple, just with my phone, and you know, so I could edit it in and stuff. But it turns out that's probably not gonna work out. Whatever little bit I recorded already, filled up my phone. Then I have to go dump it on the computer, and you know, it's as much work as just picking my nice camera up and using my GoPro and stuff. I was just hoping to keep my nice gear kind of away from all the grinding and stuff. But anyways, I went for my old trusty Lumix GH4. So it's a bit of an old camera, so it doesn't get beat up too much. Anyways, so we're back, and I've already gone ahead and removed that stock crossmember that went right here. And like I showed you before, I cut it with my plasma cutter, just kind of like a rough cut, just so I can get it out of the way quickly. And then I cleaned it up with the grinder. That's where we're at right now. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and clean the area over here inside the frame where the new crossmember is gonna go. So I went ahead and lifted up the radiator to the full bolts and kind of I have it propped up there with whatever you got laying around. So I'm gonna clean that up, and then we'll get to welding. And this time I went through it with a flapper wheel, so I just kind of clean up all the burrs out of there, so it's not sharp, you know. And once we get all that welding done, we'll go ahead and put some paint on it, and it'll be nice and sealed from the environment, so it won't get all rusty and stuff. So, okay, moving on the next clip, I'll go ahead and start welding here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up some of this mess, clean up a little bit, and get my welder all ready to go. See you in a minute. Okay, as far as the welding setup we're gonna be using, this is my trusty titanium MIG 170. This is a multi-process welding machine, and it's gonna be mainly what I'm gonna be using to get this entire bumper assembled. If you're trying to do this on a budget, you cannot go wrong with Harbor Freight. They got great tools and decent prices. We're going to be doing 035 for this job. We got new tips. I might also use a TIG process for the front of the bumper, since some of the TIG welds are just more aesthetically pleasing. So we might go ahead and play around with that a little bit, see how it turns out. So there's that. I'll go ahead and get the machine all loaded up, and we'll get cracking. We got it ready to rock. Like nice and fresh. Okay. Compared to this, what do you think about that? That one got a little hot. Okay, let's go. I want to grind a couple little spots, and I just kind of want to get a feel for how the machine is doing. You know, I mean, the manufacturer gives you some kind of a ballpark number depending on what the material thickness that you're working with. So I'm gonna set it up at whatever they say. It's usually pretty close and it works. Sometimes you have to tweak it a little bit to where you like it, but this gives me a good chance to practice and make sure my welds are gonna look good before I get into the actual project. Let's go. Fire the hole. Okay, so this is what I got going on here. You can tell it's got great penetration. Well, it's looking good, so we're gonna go with that. On the cross member, you have some drain holes right here that are for water. Just make sure those drain holes are pointing down, so your so obviously your water drains off of there and it doesn't build up rust. Okay, and that's how that turned out. Do that all the way around, both sides. And voila. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and paint this now, because that way by the time we get to fitting the bumper and doing other things, this will be dry and I won't have to worry about it. If I have to touch it up a little bit later or whatever, I can, but that way we can get it out of the way. So it's essentially, so right now we are done with the truck. We're going to start assembling the bumper. I mean, as far as this part goes, we will assemble the bumper on the truck. And then we will tack it all up. Another thing is, the radiator, is we're done with that, so that will go back. We could bolt that on and be done with that. If there's anything you want to get before you put that back, as far as, you know, any kind of rust proofing or paint or whatever, I'm going to be using Steelit. This is stainless steel based paint. It's anti-corrosive. You can weld right on top of it. It's a really good product. It's a little spendy, but once you use it, you're not going to want to use anything else. Alright, here we go. Give it a quick wipe down. This will be the closest thing to powder coating on a can that you can get. And I painted my sliders with it. I could probably make another video about that one of these days, but I painted my sliders with it, and just held up great. Don't breathe, that stuff is terrible. All the pieces kind of in order. I want to take a Sharpie and get them all labeled up, so that way when we start going through the steps, that way I know exactly what to grab. Wait, this is my buddy Isaac behind the camera, my good friend.
What's up?
Alright, so on this part here, it says on the two pieces, 1A and 1B. That was the part that I was getting a little confused there a little bit. So just so you don't make the same mistake when they want you to sandwich this ones together and do your tags, they want you to have like a left and a right. And what I wasn't getting is they want to have that groove in there so you can actually lay your weld on there, which is pretty cool. So anyways, when I did it, I messed up. So So I essentially made two of the same. So now I'll just have to break those tacks off and do it on the opposite side over here, so that my groove ends on the inside. Okay, I'm gonna spread them apart like that. Break that tack, and essentially what we're gonna do is move it around to the other side, and bada bing, bada boom, we just fix our problem. So you guys should probably wear gloves when you're welding, and
but I'm not.
This is a bad glove. That's a good thing. Alright, I missed recording this part, but I haven't tacked anything yet. Essentially, it's just the same thing that I just showed you. The only thing I did was I brought this new plate. It's the number 4A. You slid it right in there on top of those two, the number 2 pieces right here. Slide it in there. Sometimes a little tight, so just give it a good hammer. Keep in mind, you want the sides to still remain straight. So we're still doing pretty good there. So, just gotta give it a couple taps with a hammer, so everything kind of falls in its place. Now I'll go ahead and I'll put a couple tacks on the inside, one here, one there, and then we're ready to pick it up and put it on the truck, and we'll start building from there. Alright, okay, it's time to go ahead and begin the assembly. We're gonna start, I'm gonna mount the pieces that we already welded up to the truck. We're gonna bolt that up, and then we'll start putting all the pieces of the puzzle together. And for this, we're going to go ahead and use the same factory bolts. Or nuts. Factory bolts and nuts, I guess. Next step is to weld our little brackets in the back for LiQWYDs here. So they recommend 0.625 below the square. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go grab my little lights that I had already, that I had already purchased to use with this, and I'm gonna kind of eyeball it and see where they land. I want to try to get them as center as possible, and we'll go from there. This is what I bought: some cheap Amazon LED cubes to fill the holes. I'm going to be wiring them to my factory fog lights harness. I found out that with this thing's fit like a glove on those holes, so like they don't go through. That's how tight it is. So that works out really cool, because if I put them back here, I can just kind of snug them up in there, and then it'll center it up perfectly for me. So all that I really gotta do is we're gonna set that thing right in that hole. You can see it right here. We're gonna set it in that hole, and I'll put my bolt through it. I'm gonna put my little bracket right. Actually, you know what? It doesn't even matter. You just line it up. You just put it with that line. and you're gonna be good to go. So, alright, well, done. That was easy. So essentially, I don't even need this. If you're gonna get this exact same lights from Amazon, all you gotta do is go with that bend line. Just butt that thing right up against that. And of course, just center whichever way the mounting bolts goes. That's what I'm gonna do. And you're gonna want to know your up and down, you know, like which way you're gonna go, back down this way or the one. It's gonna go as straight, pretty much as straight as you can. But what we're gonna do is just I'm gonna tack it. Just put one tack in the middle, and then mess with my light a little bit, and see where I like it, and that's where it's gonna end up. Alright, so this is where we're at right now. Essentially, the next step is going to be, the reason why they wanted me to put this in here and not tack it is because we're just trying to eyeball the height. You know, there's some slot holes that are on this, so you can adjust the bumper up and down to so that you can make the difference, you know, for the bumper clearance between the body lines or whatever, you know. So maybe what about a 1/4 inch or something like that. Yeah, they want to leave a 1/4 inch gap. So, and the reason why they want you to do it now is because there is a bracket that attaches to the cross member that we welded at the very beginning. And so once you do your adjustments, we're going to tack this piece in the back here, and once we tack it, and that bolts on to the essentially to the cross member. So once you do that, there will be no more adjustment after that. So wherever you weld it, that's where it's going to stay. So that's what we're trying to do. That being said, I'm a little disappointed because they forgot to send me the bolts. The 1/2 inch bolts, and I'm looking through all the boxes and everything, and nothing's there. So that's the second thing that they forgot. You know, I mean, the first one that I caught was the the cross member. They sent me everything, all the metal, but they forgot to send me the cross member. So I wrote them back, and they got that back to me pretty much right away. So that was pretty cool. And now I realize that I'm missing the bolts that I didn't even know that was part of it. So now I'm having to call them so they can send me the bolts, which I'm not going to because it's going to take too much time. In fact, it's already too late here, and that's holding me up. So I'm gonna have to continue this video tomorrow or something. But anyways, here we go. We're just keep chipping at it. And maybe I'll have a stash somewhere of bolts that I can use. If not, I think I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. You know, put a jack under there, jacket, and put the front piece, the number number 6. And then I'm going to put the weighing toy here, just so we can kind of figure out what our gap is going to be here. Once I get that figured out, I'll probably just go ahead and just tap that piece back there and hope for the best. Just loosen them up a little bit. I'm going to give you some adjustment. So we can go ahead and play with that. I guess probably the best way to do it would be I'm going to go ahead and put a floor jack under there. That way we can bring it up nice and easy. And get a hammer and tap on that a little bit. So that if you run into them, alright, so there's that roasted up flutter there. And honestly, I think that's pretty much perfect. Yep, I'm gonna call that good. So when I say max out, so you see what I mean. See where the mark of the bolts were at before? And now I pretty much have it. I slid it all the way to the bottom of the slot. Alright, and this is pretty difficult to show on the truck itself, so I'm just going to show you the pictures that they have here. You can see how it's kind of almost flush with the bottom of that cross member that we welded there. Now, this is what it's going to look like on the inside there. So this is looking at it from the back. This is the back of what we have going on right here. I can't get the camera back there, but this is what we're trying to do. So we adjusted the height. Now we're gonna know where to weld this piece right here. So now that we have that, this piece right here, it's gonna rest. I believe the number of that one is 4B, I believe. Yep. So 4B is gonna sit right on top of the cross member that we welded at the beginning. Alright, so I got it off the truck. I didn't get any video because you couldn't get back there. I couldn't even see back there, so I just kind of reached. Got somewhat of a tag there, so it was pretty spotty, but I couldn't see what I was doing. So now that I got it where I wanted, I went ahead and welded all the way. And put those gussets on there. Tack on the top, at the very top of each gusset. Now I'm gonna adjust them whichever way they have to go if they're off by a little bit. So let's do something like this. Something like that. It doesn't have to be like super perfect or anything. If you're doing it, you might as well do it right. Tap. Get it towards nice and straight. I hope you guys can see that. Once you get it straight, give it another tap. foot. This is a support. This is what's going to keep the bumper attached to that what do you call it, that cross member. So I think I'm going to go ahead and weld the whole thing all the way across. That being said, it's going to get hot, so maybe take a break, you know, like you can start here, you know, weld a little ways, then start from this side, then come back. Something like that, so that way you're not creating so much heat as you're going, because that might make things warp, and that would be no fun. You can go ahead and weld these pieces in the back here. Those are ready to go, so might as well do those. Pretty much anything that needs to be welded here, you can go ahead and weld it on. The reason you see skips like that, because I was jumping from one side to another, back, forth. You kind of, you know, let one side cool off a little bit. We don't want to like heat it too much and then cause things to get warped or anything like that. But then that would be another problem. So it'll hold. Now we'll go ahead and do the other side. I'm just going through and getting all the seams welded up. And all this back here welded up. Okay, I'm going ahead and grinded some of the spots that were protruding out. This is where the mount goes to the fender, so we don't want anything moving there. We want that to be as flush as possible. So, but all the welding is done on this piece. We're going to do a little more grinding, and then we'll move on to our next step. Alright, so I went ahead and got after I got everything welded up, I mounted it back onto the truck, and we're about to start welding again. Now we can put the number 6 piece on the truck, and that's going to be pretty much completed. The whole center part is going to be completed. So I went ahead and painted the inside of this. That steelite paint that I'm using is, you can weld on it, you can apply it hot, it will be heat resistant. It's an amazing product. So I won't be able to access this, and some of the crevices in here sometimes are very difficult to paint, if not almost impossible once everything is put together, unless you do some kind of powder coating or something, which I'm not. So I went ahead and gave this thing a good coat before I go ahead and put the top on, and that way I can make sure that all the surfaces are going to be sealed, protected, and not going to rust. So we'll go ahead and get the front piece welded up, and we'll start adding the wings on it. Alright guys, So this concludes part 1 of the Costal Offroad front bumper, the extreme clearance for the 2nd gen Tacoma. If you've gotten this far, I would say you're probably 55-60% done with your build, and that was probably the hardest part of the entire build. Having to do all the cutting and on the truck and welding. So part 2, we're gonna go ahead and finish the wings on it, and it goes together really fast. And pretty soon you'll be grinding and painting. And we're also gonna talk about installing the winch and the lights to the factory harness on the fog lights. So stick around, we'll see you next time.